All right, power rankings. Speaking of the Chiefs, they are up to number 3 after beating the New York Jets, a game they could have lost. I wonder how far they would have fallen. Here are the power rankings.
Tyreek Hill's on the Dolphins, dude.
Oh, yeah. Jeez, what the hell am I talking about? See, I blame the COVID. I can blame the COVID for everything. Tyreek Hill's on the Dolphins, and they fell 4 spots from 2 to number 6. See, I just slipped into a time warp there. What the hell? Next, I'm going to be talking about the Oakland Raiders.
And the St. Louis Rams. Let's do the time warp again.
All right. So anyway, boy, you get that reference and you don't know the 3 pigs? You're bringing out Rocky Horror? Well, it wasn't in the 80s. Okay. So Tyreek Hill and the Dolphins fell 4 spots. He was held to like 53 yards receiving against the Buffalo Bills. 49, look, there's no shakeup at the top. The 49ers are number 1. I thought last week about jumping the Dolphins ahead of the 49ers after they scored 70 points. I'm glad I didn't, because the Dolphins would not have handled that perch very well. They didn't handle 2 very well. Tyreek Hill and the Dolphins fell 4 spots. My excuse is I was thinking about Tyreek Hill throwing the deuces in his Chiefs uniform and the COVID.
I know.
Both things.
I mean,
you don't see him do the deuces a lot now with the Dolphins. All right, good. Thank you. You got that. You don't get the 3 pigs, but you got that. Okay, So I'll throw it to you. Go ahead. Go ahead and pick. Go ahead and complain. Go ahead and find fault with my power rankings.
I mean, it's not that I find fault. I find them interesting, right? The Buccaneers in the top 10, and I guess they kind of have to be. They're 3-1. I mean, do I really, really believe in the Buccaneers? I don't know. But the way they're playing, I mean, look, Baker Mayfield is playing some of the best football of his career. He's completing 70% of his passes. He's got a passer rating of over 100. I think he's 8th right now in the league in passer rating. They're playing like a top 10 team. I don't know how much I believe in them, and I don't think that that's fair.
Well, right, and they love that. They like that people don't believe in them. They like that people think that they're not going to be any good. This is a team that has a lot of guys that were there for the Super Bowl championship just 3 years ago. And Baker Mayfield, 2018. I mean, you know this. You're a Browns fan. 2018, he was great. 2019, Freddie Kitchens happened. 2020, he was great again. Took them to the brink of the conference championship round. Gave the Chiefs everything they could handle. And then week 1 of 2021, went back to Kansas City and gave them a good game again. It was that shoulder injury week 2 against the Texans that threw his career off track. Last year was this weird journey from Cleveland to Charlotte to L.A. and the Panthers were horrible last year.
Yeah, they were.
Like, he never had a chance to be any good with them. So he gets to Tampa early, takes a very low salary. I mean, especially when you look at how he's doing now. That's the bargain. Everybody wants to say Brock Purdy's the bargain, but Brock Purdy is locked into a rookie wage scale contract. Baker Mayfield negotiated and accepted that $4.5 million base salary he's getting from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That is a bargain. So they belong in the top 10 right now. And there's a bunch of 2-2 teams. They're 3-1. 3-1 through 4 games means something. Those wins, as I said earlier, are money in the bank. That means a lot when January rolls around. And they're the best team. Even though it's just a 1-game lead over the rest of the division, they're clearly the best team in that division.
Yeah, they are right now. Other risers on here, the Texans jumping 11 spots to number 11, and my Los Angeles Rams, plus 12. Up to number 12 here, man.
Look, I still don't know how they lost to the Bengals last Monday night, and I was a little upset.
They had a turnstile at left tackle, with all due respect for that man. I'm sorry. That's why.
I mean, I know. But I have to respect what they were able to do in Indianapolis, building the lead, blowing the lead, and then winning the game. And the Matthew Stafford, I don't know how much longer we're going to get to enjoy watching Matthew Stafford because of all the physical pounding he takes. And he's already there. And I expect him to be limited in practice today or not practice at all for the LA Rams after that hip injury that they're trying to downplay. Look, I fell one time on my hip, and I mean, that is a pain that never goes away. No matter, you can't get comfortable. I mean, he's got to be in agony this week, but he never complains. He just keeps going. And I respect what the Rams did in Indianapolis, and I respect where they are. And I moved them up probably farther than I should, but I like what they're doing right now. I'm thinking maybe I had them too low earlier in the season. I like where they are, But if Matthew Stafford is either unable to play or can't play like he did last week, they're not going to last for very long at number 12, Myles.
Well, yeah, no. And look, I mean, the thing about Stafford, too, is he's always going to be a guy who, if you give him time, he can make elite throws, right? I think we've seen that so far this year. If you give him the time, he's going to be able to make the throws. We'll also see this week if Cooper Kupp is able to come back. So, I mean, they're going to open his practice window. He should be on the field today here in Los Angeles. And then we'll see if he is going to be able to be activated to the roster in time for Sunday's game against the Eagles. That's going to be an interesting game if both of those guys are healthy and can be on the field. I mean, you add Cooper Kupp to what they're doing with Puka Nacua. That's a pretty dangerous passing game so long as Matthew Stafford has time.
I always root for a great story, and Puka Nacua is a great story. The 20th receiver taken in the draft, the last guy in round 5, 39 catches, 501 yards, records for rookie in the first 4 games of his career, and just a great kid. Like, I've talked to enough people over the years. I can tell right away if someone is genuinely a great kid. And I say kid because he is a kid. He's younger than my son by like 4 or 5 years. And it just came through. And if he Eddie Haskell'd me, so be it. Kudos to him because he pulled it off. But I talked to him for a solid 5 minutes until they yelled in the background, Florio, he's got to go. He's just a great kid. And I love a story like that where someone overcomes adversity, overcomes what everyone thought he was going to be, and just believes in himself and becomes a great player. I'm rooting for Puka Nacua, and I know I'm officially objective, but I think it's a great story, and I think right now what the Rams are doing is impressive because I don't think many people expected much out of them. The Jets moved up 4 spots in the power rankings. They were down near the dregs. They even though they lost, I look at it this way.
Moral victory.
For the second time this year, we had the Sunday night, Monday night New York team back-to-back games, right? And the contrast between the Jets and the Giants this time around. Well, obviously, the first time around, look, the Jets won, but they lost Aaron Rodgers. It was doomsday, Sunday night, Monday night to start the season. This time around, though, even though both teams lost, if you're a Jets fan, you have to feel a lot better about where the team is right now than if you're a Giants fan. Because something sparked in that game. And even though they lost, there is something that carries away from that game. Now, it's meaningless if they lose to the Broncos this week, but there's something there to build on. And something happened with Zach Wilson. Something changed. Again, was it temporary or was it a building block? And I tend to believe it was a building block. I think they finally worked through the post-Aaron Rodgers trauma. He came in Saturday night like Batman, as Alan Lazard said. And I don't get why Aaron Rodgers is upset. We're going to talk about that later, I think. I don't get why he's upset that it came out what he said. It's not like he said anything inappropriate. He inspired his team. He should be proud of it. You put all that together, and I think the Jets are in a position where they can win some games, they can move up in the rankings, and they can still be a factor. So if Aaron Rodgers does plan to play later this year, maybe there will be games to play after Week 18.
Zach Wilson took off his headband, and that finally gave him his proper powers. I don't know, man. That's one of the only things I can think of. Like, how did this all of a sudden start clicking? I'm happy for him that it did because, he's taking a lot of heat, but he's also a professional. And sometimes as professionals, that's what you've got to do. You've got to live through it. But can you stack the blocks, right? That's the thing that, to me, if he goes out there and he pees down his leg against the Broncos, which is one of the worst defenses I've ever seen through the first 4 weeks of a season, then we're going to be back at square one, right? So you have to be able to build on that. Let's see him do it this week. Let's see him go win a game and put together 4 really good quarters as a quarterback. He's not done that before. So let's see it this week, and then maybe we can have a better conversation.
Right. And this is a key week. I think in many respects, this is the most important game the Jets will play this year because this is the crossroads.
Yes.
After what happened on Sunday night, because what happened Sunday night is meaningless if they lose to the Broncos. Meaningless. Because then they go into the Eagles and then they go into their bye. That means 1-5 coming out of their bye. And maybe it's over by then. You get to 1-5. We still don't quite know because with 17 games, when does the window close? It used to be once you got to 5 losses, you might already be done and you don't even know it yet. But if you lose another one, there's a good chance you're done. And if you lose one more after that, the only way you're getting in is, if you've got the Always Sunny conspiracy Mike, all the different, go ahead and put it up. All the different, that's the only way you're getting in if you were 9-7. Now, if you're 10-7, I don't know.
There you go.
11-6, there it is. That's how you used to have to get in with 9-7. We still don't know when you get to that point. But my more specific point is this. You can go ahead and take it down now. 1-5 coming out of the bye, you don't have many more you can lose. And you still got some tough games on your schedule. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.